Hey y'all, and welcome back to a weekly Wellness with Tarot. It is the fall equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere, and so I'm hoping that y'all are enjoying dreams of scarves and pumpkin spice lattes, and as Elijah Schlesinger would say, pumpkin spice everything. So we're going to continue this week with our Fool's Journey series. And today we are focusing on the Hierophant. So the Hierophant in the Fool's Journey represents, in general, it represents conformity, institutions, like traditions, like church, like certain dogmas or institutions, or even just like conventional wisdom. So sort of like things that maybe or like spiritual institutions that maybe people have experience with, or at least some knowledge of, that they're just kind of maybe part of society or culture. Like if you live in the Bible Belt, like church traditions, that's really big down here, things like that. So in general, the Hierophant represents just like spiritual wisdom, institutions, and conformity, like traditional kind of belief systems. So kind of like learning the rules around traditional belief systems. I think that can also expand outside of religion as well, depending on the reading and what you're looking at. And so as the Fool goes through their journey, the Fool starts to learn about this. The Fool starts to learn about sort of exposure to these ideas and belief systems. So ideally, hopefully as we all go through our journeys, we learn from these belief systems and we take what we need from them. Maybe we choose to like attend a church or a temple or some sort of institution, or maybe it doesn't resonate. So maybe you take what you like and leave the rest, or maybe you find some other traditional system. So I think also connected to this is sort of spiritual exploration, but generally for simplicity's sake, we're going to keep it at just kind of spiritual and traditional wisdom. That's what the energy of this card. And so I think what we'll do with this reading is we'll ask, okay, so where does this apply? Like where does maybe conventional wisdom, spiritual belief systems apply to our lives today? And this card, the Hierophant, is from the Ethereal Visions deck. And then for the actual reading, I'm using the Radiant Rider Waite deck. I like this deck. All right, so as I've been doing, we're just going to pull one card and then maybe do another, just depending on how it goes. And we are asking the tarot where we need maybe traditional wisdom and spiritual guidance in our lives. So where does this apply? Okay, so lay it out here and pull us a card. Okay, and I'm pulling towards this one. Also, I just want to name that my dishwasher is going on in the background. You may be able to hear that. So I've got the Three of Wands. Reversed. So I think when I think of three, it's sort of putting plans into action. And also wands represent like manifestation and passion, ideas, energy. And it's also very yellow. That's what's really standing out to me, this card, the yellowness of it, which is making me think of like the solar plexus, which is like about sort of confidence and expression. And also the red is popping out to me, which is like root chakra, like basic needs, grounding. So that's because those colors are really prominent, that's really popping out to me too. So that might have something to do with it here. But so looking at this card, three is about putting plans into action, and wands are about, passion, manifestation, energy. So this is also just making me think of like a manifestation list, or maybe something you're calling in, or maybe a passion project. I think this can't come up in a recent reading around your passion project and putting into action. But the reverse also means there's some resistance, maybe resistance or maybe lack of confidence. With the yellow and the root, or the red for the root chakra and the yellow, the solar plexus, I mean, there could be maybe some chakra unalignment or some wounds that need to be healed around needs and expression, confidence. So maybe there's a sense that you don't have enough, you don't have what it takes to put your passion into action, or whatever manifestation or whatever thing that you want to put your energy towards. Maybe you're held back because there's some blockage. There's some blockage in your belief in yourself, and maybe some scarcity mindset. Maybe there's lots going on in your life. And so how does the Hierophant apply? Perhaps there is a need for some conventional wisdom. Maybe if you have some sort of belief system, whether you attend a church or a temple or some sort of religious or spiritual institution, maybe that you have found comfort in the past, or maybe that you have some belief in, like perhaps even if you're a member of a 12-step group, maybe you've gotten away from that, and maybe you need that. Maybe there needs some conventional wisdom and some sort of something outside of yourself, because when you get so inside of what's going on with you, when you're really struggling, especially if there's some like spiritual blocks, spiritual lessons going on in your life. Maybe you've been going through a rock bottom of sorts, or struggling, maybe even just financially. Maybe there's just like something going on and it's affecting you emotionally and like soul level stuff, and it's bringing up some maybe past wounds, karmic stuff that needs to be worked on and addressed. And maybe you've been floundering and white knuckling, and I can handle it, I got this, but really you don't. You need a power greater than yourself to restore you to sanity. And that could even just be talking to someone else who's been through a similar thing, getting their experience, strength, and hope, going to a meeting, or maybe calling a spiritual advisor, even a tarot reader, because that I feel like also sort of relates to conventional wisdom. So there's a need for some spiritual higher guidance, because you can't see clearly right now, and perhaps some conventional wisdom from some sort of spiritual belief system that maybe you've had relied on in the past, or maybe that you've had an interest in exploring. Maybe that has something for you, some lessons, maybe some slogans, some mantras, or a different way of seeing something that is going to give you some comfort and healing. Maybe you've been interested in learning more about Buddhism and meditation, and that's what you need. You need to find a YouTube, video on that and learn a little bit, and maybe that's going to get you the thing that you need. So there's some sort of need for spiritual guidance as relate to systems that already exist, be like belief systems, religions. All right, I think I feel like I was really redundant with talking about that. But yeah, so whatever you're going through, and it sounds like that's really difficult. This is by the way, a collective reading, not an individual reading, so this may not resonate at all. But for those who it does, and you're really struggling and stuck, and you don't know how to move forward and move your energy, maybe feels all over the place, and you don't know how to take action because you're just feeling clouded, it's time to look for a power greater than yourself, and that could be, anything outside of what you've been trying to do. Like Einstein, I think, was the one who said, you can't fix a problem with the same mindset that created it. And that could be where you are. You're in an echo chamber with all of your thoughts, and it's just bouncing back at you, and you're stuck and you can't move forward. So I encourage you to seek something outside of you, some spiritual help to help you move forward. Because that went so quick, we are going to do another card, just a follow-up card. Okay, I am going to do that thing that I usually do, which is put them all together and pull the bottom card to see if there's anything else for us to know. Today on this fall equinox here in the Northern Hemisphere, we've got the Three of Cups reversed, another reverse card. And also some more prominent red. And a pumpkin, which is, pumpkin spice everything season right now. So that is very appropriate. So also blue is very prominent. So like throat chakra, expression. So to me, what I'm hearing is with this card, Three of Cups, we've got three women on the card. Like represents like sisterhood, connection, but gender aside, connection with others, and also like celebration. This is like a very celebratory card, especially with the pumpkin here. That's making me think of like fall parties, autumnal celebrations. So I think maybe there's just it's a time to connect for others. Like, do not be alone. If you're going through this hard thing, don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer alone. Don't carry this burden alone. Like, it's time to talk. Blue, throat chakra expression. By the way, I've heard that the throat chakra is connected to the solar plexus because they both have to do with expression. Like yellow is confidence, self-confidence, sense of self-identity, and then the blue helps you obviously express, like they are connected. You're expressing how you are, what you believe, your thoughts, your identity, your personality. So it's a time to speak up. It's time to talk about what's going on with you and get to help yourself get unstuck. I hope in the context of a group, or maybe even could be one-on-one, but you need some connection. There needs to be some connection, especially with what you're going on, because perhaps you're swirling with what you are stuck through, and you're only getting more of that, and it needs to get out, and it helps to talk about things. So hopefully in a group with friends, this seems more casual. I think last time we had more of what was coming up was like seeking professional support. That was either last week or the week before. But this is more about, I think, just friendly connection. And that could even be going to a meeting, a peer group, talking to people who maybe are going through a similar thing. So if you're stuck and you're struggling to move forward, maybe you've got plans and passions but your energy is stuck, you can't move forward. Three of Wands reversed. Seeking conventional wisdom through belief systems perhaps that you have interest in or that you have found comfort in the past, and also talking about it. That also could be related to this, like maybe if you go to a church, maybe a Sunday school class, if you go to some other sort of religion, a temple, going to a service of sorts, or if you're in the 12-step world, perhaps going to a meeting or some sort of book study or something where you can get some wisdom and talk to others and not be alone. Don't suffer in silence. All right. Thank you so much for being here for our weekly wellness reading. If you want an individual reading, please reach out to me. You can book on my website, www.taurusrising.com. And rising is RYZING. Or you could go to my Instagram and send me a message there, and we'll set something up. Well, until next week, I hope you'll have a great week and have a good equinox.